the mastermind. And after the lesson, visit with the author. A power that can bring you whatever you want on this earth. Success is achieved through the application of power. In the picture at the top of this page, you see two forms of power. At the left, you see physical power, produced by nature, with the aid of organized raindrops pouring over Niagara Falls. Man has harnessed this form of power. At the right, you see another, and a much more intensive form of power, produced through the harmonious coordination of thought in the minds of men. Observe that the word harmonious has been emphasized. In this picture, you see a group of men seated at the director's table in a Modem business office. The powerful figure rising above the group represents the mastermind, which may be created wherever men blend their minds in a spirit of perfect harmony, with some definite objective in view. Study this picture. It interprets the greatest power known to man. With the aid of the mind, man has discovered many interesting facts about the earth on which he lives, the air and the ether that fill the endless space about him, and the millions of other planets and heavenly bodies that float through space. With the aid of a little mechanical contrivance, which his mind conceived, called a spectroscope, man has discovered, at a distance of 93 million miles, the nature of the substances of which the sun is made. We have lived through the Stone Age, the Iron Age, the Copper Age, the religious fanatic age, the scientific research age, the industrial age, and we enter, now, the age of thought. Out of the spoils of the dark ages through which man has passed, he has saved much material that is sound food for thought. While for more than 10,000 years the battle between ignorance, superstition, and fear on the one side, and intelligence on the other, has raged, man has picked up some useful knowledge. Among other fragments of useful knowledge gathered by man, he has discovered and classified the 83 elements of which all physical matter consists. By study and analysis and comparison, man has discovered the bigness of the material things in the universe as they are represented by the suns and stars, some of them over 10 million times as large as the earth on which he lives. On the other hand, man has discovered the littleness of things by reducing matter to molecules, atoms, and finally, to the smallest known particle, the electron. An atom is so inconceivably small that a grain of sand contains millions of them. The molecule is made up of atoms, which are said to be little particles of matter that revolve around each other in one continuous circuit, at lightning speed, very much as the Earth and other planets whirl around the Sun in an endless circuit. The atom, in turn, is made up of electrons which are constantly in rapid motion. Thus it is said that in every drop of water and every grain of sand the entire principle upon which the whole universe operates is duplicated. How marvelous! How stupendous! How do we know these things to be true? Through the aid of the mind. You may gather some slight idea of the magnitude of it all the next time you eat a beefsteak, by remembering that the steak on your plate, the plate itself, and the table on which you are eating, and the silverware with which you are eating are all, in final analysis, made of exactly the same material, electrons. In the physical or material world, whether one is looking at the largest star that floats through the heavens or the smallest grain of sand to be found on Earth, the object under observation is but an organized collection of molecules, atoms, and electrons. An electron is an inseparable form of power, made up of a positive and a negative pole. Man knows much about the physical facts of the universe. The next great scientific discovery will be the fact, which already exists, that every human brain is both a broadcasting and a receiving station. That every thought vibration released by the brain may be picked up and interpreted by all other brains that are in harmony or in tune with the rate of vibration of the broadcasting brain. How did man acquire the knowledge that he possesses concerning the physical laws of this earth? How did he learn what has taken place before his time and during his uncivilized period? He gathered this knowledge by turning back the pages of nature's Bible and there viewing the unimpeachable evidence of millions of years of struggle among animals of a lower intelligence. By turning back the great stone pages, man has uncovered the bones, skeletons, footprints, and other unmistakable evidence which Mother Nature has held for his inspection throughout unbelievable periods of time. Now man is about to turn his attention to another section of nature's Bible, the one wherein has been written a history of the great mental struggle that has taken place in the realm of thought. This page is represented by the boundless ether, which has picked up and still carries every thought vibration that was ever released from the mind of man. This great page in nature's Bible is one that no human being has been able to tamper with. Its records are positive, and soon they may be clearly interpreted. No interpolations by man have been permitted. Of the authenticity of the story written on this page there can be no doubt. Thanks to education, meaning the unfolding, educing, drawing out, developing from within of the human mind, Nature's Bible is now being interpreted. The story of man's long, perilous struggle upward has been written on the pages of this, the greatest of all Bibles. All who have partly conquered the 6 basic fears described in another author's visit in this series, and who have successfully conquered superstition and ignorance, may read the records that have been written in Nature's Bible. To all others, this privilege is denied. For this reason, there are probably fewer than 1,000 people in the entire world at this time who are in even the primary grade as far as the reading of this Bible is concerned. In the entire world, there are probably fewer than 100 people today who know anything about or have ever heard of the chemistry of the mind, through which 2 or more minds may be blended in a spirit of perfect harmony. Indiana such a manner that there is born a third mind possessing the superhuman power to read the story of the vibration of thought as it has been written and now exists in the imperishable records of the ether. The newly discovered radio principle has shut the mouths of the doubting Thomases and sent the scientists scurrying into new fields of experimentation. When they emerge from this field of research, they will show us that the mind as we understand it today, as compared to the mind of tomorrow, is about the same as comparing the intelligence of a polywog to that of a professor of biology who has read the entire lifeline of animal life, from the amoeba on up to man. Come for a short visit with a few of the powerful men now living who are making use of power created through the blending, in a spirit of harmony, of 2 or more minds. We will begin with 3 well-known men, who are known to be men of great achievement in their respective fields of endeavor. Their names are Henry Ford, Thomas A. Edison, and Harvey Firestone. Of the 3, Henry Ford is the most powerful, having reference to economic power. Mr. Ford is the most powerful man now living on Earth, and is believed to be the most powerful who ever lived. So great is his power that he may have anything of a physical nature that he desires, or its equivalent. Millions of dollars, to him, are but playthings, no harder to acquire than the grains of sand with which the child builds sand tunnels. Mr. Edison has such a keen insight into Mother Nature's Bible that he has harnessed and combined for the good of man more of nature's laws than any other man who ever lived. It was he who brought together the point of a needle and a piece of wax in such a way that they record and preserve the human voice. It was he who first made the lightning serve to light our houses and streets, through the aid of the incandescent light. It was he who made the camera record and produce all sorts of motion, through the modem moving picture apparatus. Mr. Firestone's industrial achievement is so well 68 known that it needs no comment. He has made dollars multiply themselves so rapidly that his name has become a byword wherever automobiles are operated. All 3 men began their business and professional careers with no capital and but little schooling of the nature usually referred to as education. Perhaps Mr. Ford's beginning was, by far, the most humble of the 3. Cursed with poverty, retarded by lack of even the most elementary form of schooling, and handicapped by ignorance in many forms, he has mastered all of these in the inconceivably short period of 25 years. Thus might we briefly describe the achievements of 3 well-known, successful men of power. But we have been dealing with effect only. The true philosopher wishes to know something of the cause which produced these desirable effects. It is a matter of public knowledge that Mr. Ford, Mr. Edison, and Mr. Firestone are close personal friends, that they go away to the woods once a year for a period of recuperation and rest. But it is not generally known. It is doubtful if these 3 men, themselves, even know it, that there exists between the 3 men a bond of harmony out of which has grown a mastermind that is being used by each of the 3. A mind of ability that has tuned in on forces with men are to no extent superhuman capacity to which most familiar. Let us repeat the statement that out of the blending and harmonizing of 2 or more minds, 12 or 13 minds appear to be the most favorable number, may be produced a mind which has the capacity to tune in on the vibrations of the ether and pick up, from that source, kindred thoughts on any subject. Through the principle of harmony of minds, Ford, Edison, and Firestone have created a mastermind that now supplements the efforts of each of the 3, and whether consciously or unconsciously, this mastermind is the cause of the success of each of the 3. There is no other answer to their attainment of great power and their far-reaching success in their respective fields of endeavor, and this is true despite the fact that neither of them may be conscious of the power they have created or the manner in which they have done so. In the city of Chicago live 6 powerful men known as the Big Six. These 6 men are said to be the most powerful group of men in the Middle West. It is said that their combined income totals more than $25 million a year. Every man in the group began in the most humble of circumstances. Their names are William Wrigley, Jr., who owns the Wrigley chewing gum business, and whose income is said to be over $15 million a year. John R. Thompson, who owns the chain of Thompson self-help lunchrooms throughout the country. Mr. Lasker, who owns the Lord and Thomas Advertising Agency. Mr. McCullough, who owns the largest express business in the world. And Mr. Ritchie and Mr. Hertz, who own the yellow taxicab business of the country. There is nothing startling about a man who does nothing more than become a millionaire, as a rule. However, there is something connected with the financial success of these particular millionaires that is more than startling. For it is well known that there exists between them a bond of friendship out of which has grown the condition of harmony that produces a mastermind. These 6 men, whether by accident or design, have blended their minds in such a way that the mind of each has been supplemented by a superhuman power known as a mastermind, and that mind has brought each of them more worldly gain than any person could possibly use to advantage. The law upon which the principle of a mastermind operates was discovered by Christ when he surrounded himself with 12 disciples and created the first 13 club of the world. Despite the fact that one of the 13, Judas, broke the chain of harmony, sufficient seed was sown during the period of harmony that originally existed between these 13 people to ensure the continuation of the greatest and most far-reaching philosophy known to the inhabitants of this earth. Many millions of people believe themselves to possess wisdom. Many of these do possess wisdom in certain elementary stages, but no man may possess real wisdom without the aid of the power known as a mastermind, and such a mind cannot be created except through the principle of blending and harmony of 2 or more minds. Through many years of practical experimentation, it has been found that 13 minds, when blended in a spirit of perfect harmony, produce the most practical results. Upon this principle, whether consciously or unconsciously, is founded all of the great industrial and commercial successes that are so abundant in this age. The word merger is becoming one of the most popular words in newspaper parlance, because hardly a day goes by that one may not read of some big industrial, commercial, financial, or railroad merger. Slowly the world is beginning to learn, in a very few minds only, that through friendly alliance and cooperation great power may be developed. The successful business and industrial and financial enterprises are those managed by leaders who either consciously or unconsciously apply the principle of coordinated effort described in this article. If you would be a great leader in any undertaking, surround yourself with other minds that can be blended in a spirit of cooperation so that they act and function as one. If you can grasp this principle and apply it, you may have, for your efforts, whatever you want on this earth.